Mandy's just doing the last couple of boards, and that'll be the ceiling all plasterboarded up. And woohoo! Phew! All I've got to do now is catch her up and finish off the tape and jointing, and that'll be it. All done. Oh, celebration time.
You alright up there?
Yeah.
So as you all know, I love tape and jointing. So Mark's now doing it because I hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm not very good at it.
Well, I'm not brilliant at it, but I don't like sounding the devastation that you leave. So.
Yeah, you'll make it so much easier. And also, while you're doing that, that means I can dismantle things and destroy things, which I kind of like.
Destroying things, so yeah. So yeah. Oh. We're just disassembling the fire, and as you can see, it's made of various things. And one of the things we discovered was they wallpapered around the fire, which is a rather interesting choice of materials. And it's made up of bricks, it's made up of terracotta tiles, and it's made up of wood. So yeah.
Plaster as well.
Plaster, yeah.
No, plaster.
Yeah, plaster. I've been trying to play catch up with Mandy because she's done a rather excellent job of raking out all the walls everywhere. But before any of you say, I have got bits of plaster on the beams in places. Yeah, because it is rather tricky because all the boards are a rather uneven shape, and that is because basically someone's got a tree branch and they've just peeled off the bark and slapped it up, and they're rather an uneven shape, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's rather tricky to do. So yeah, I've done my best. So yeah, the next job is down to Mandy.
Well, my next job is to what am I doing? Line rendering these walls.
Yeah.
This one will have insulation and plasterboard on it.
So we don't have to do a particularly neat job, do we?
It just needs securing. And that one is going to be the feature wall.
Yeah, this one's going to be slightly neater. Some more of the stone will be exposed. Yes. Yeah. So
and also around the window. So as you can see, if you look down, you can see the daylight now.
Yeah, you can see daylight through some of the gaps here.
I need to sort out around the window.
And we might put a bit of board on top of there as well.
Well, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be the intention.
Not skirting board. What's it called?
Yeah.
Windowsill.
A windowsill.
There you go.
Yeah, a windowsill.
Windowsilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to get a mix on.
Yeah, and we might fill in that because basically there is nothing stopping that whole section falling down at the moment.
So I think what I need to do as well is take out these bits of stone here.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't keep it. It's a trip hazard. There's quite a difference below. So I think what I might do is put a board or build a little stone wall.
Yeah, build a stone wall, basically.
You know how I love building stone walls.
Yeah.
And then block it off.
Yeah.
We're never going to use it.
Never going to use it, and there's nothing really solid from stopping that from hitting the floor at the moment.
No, and for me as well, all it's going to do is cause a draft in winter, a cold draft, where the cold air sinks down. So we might as well just block that up, insulate the wall, plasterboard it.
And then we can use this wall to put furniture and stuff against. Yeah. As you can see, we're using lime mortar and sand as a 3-to-1 mix. And yeah, it should go up pretty quickly in this weather because it's 35 odd degrees today. So we're probably going to have to water the veg, and we've got an awful lot of veg in at the moment. We've got, I can't remember what we got. We got French beans and carrots. Well done. Yeah, I know you're impressed, aren't you? Yeah, I was listening.
We've got strawberries and rhubarb.
Strawberries and rhubarb. Always like a bit of strawberries and rhubarb. Monge too. Yeah. Peas.
Broad beans, potatoes, onions.
Yeah.
Cabbage, broccoli, purple sprouting broccoli, kale.
Yeah.
We've got sweet potatoes this year to try.
Oh,
We've got lettuce. We've got chard, courgettes, butternut squash, beetroot.
and you put flowers at the end of each road to get the pollinators and stuff in, don't you, or something,
well, that's
don't you?
what I've done anyway, and also it adds a bit of colour.
And the plastic bottles are to keep the moles from digging up all the veggies.
Well,
isn't
that's
it?
what they say. However, because we've had a few still days and I've been watering, the moles have flocked here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like moles. They dig up the rest of the garden, but
I don't mind
because they aerate the soil. But
I don't want
we don't want them actually turfing up the veg.
No.
Yeah, and there's other things at the other end of the garden which sort of like encourage the pollinators as well.
Yeah, well, there's a big sage bush there that brings them in, and then there's the fruit down the other end as well. Got
Yeah.
red currants, black currants, gooseberries, grapes.
Yeah. So there you go, our veg beds. There are different techniques for lime rendering a wall, and I'm sure there are dozens of videos out there on YouTube telling you exactly how to do it, and everyone claim to be a professional. We're not going to tell you how to lime render a wall, because I'm sure you can find a video out there to tell you how to do that. But the problem is, Mandy's over there in one corner of the wall using her style, and I'm over here in my corner of the wall probably using my style. So where the two meet, there's obviously going to be a bit of a mismatch, but on this particular wall it's not going to matter because it's all going to be hidden with plasterboard. So that's the problem solved in this particular instance. So yeah, we're not going to worry about it. That side's Mandy's side and that side's my side. As you can see, Mandy's done more than me. I've got to catch up.
It's not a race.
No,
But I'm winning.
you're winning. Yeah, constantly playing catch up. She's just showing off now with her la-di-da ladder.
Oh dear, it's not a race.
It's not a race, is it?
No, but if it were, I'd be winning.
Yeah, she's winning. Just getting annoyed now. In the game of lime mortaring, it's all about teamwork. But I think we can all agree I received a thorough, utter spanking in who got to the top first.
You wish.
So we've made an executive decision. We're never going to use the fireplace in here. It only draws cold air in winter, and basically,
Block it up.
yeah, we're going to block it up. So the lintel was in, well, dire condition, well, lack of lintel.
Yeah, I don't even think there is one.
We don't think there is one. So if we block it up, we can actually use this wall for putting stuff against. So yeah, it's going to go. Dare I say you're actually doing a better job at wall building than the person that actually built the rest of the wall. You've actually chosen rectangular stones with flat faces,
Well,
and you've put them all in a line. And you've staggered the stones, whereas the person that built the rest of the wall has just picked random jagged stones and put them all in a higgledy-piggledy manner and not actually cared where they've put the stones. I mean, it is like 40 degrees in here, and
300 degrees Celsius.
yeah.
I'm cooking.
So you're actually doing an incredible job compared with the well, they were probably unskilled farmhands that built the rest of the wall. So yeah, but you're doing quite a good, yeah, but you're actually doing quite a good job at the moment.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so carry on.
Yeah, thank you.
And so the hole in the wall is gone. It's finally blocked up. Hallelujah.
Ooh-wee.
Hooey. She's overtaken me. She's blocked up the wall. And that's it gone. And no one will ever know. The guy that put in these new fibre optic cables here for our Wi-Fi, he told us a load of these cables that run overhead here, a lot of them are all dead and unused, and really there's no point in them being there. And yeah, the outside light there, that's dead, and a lot of these wires here are dead, and the earth cable coming down from the loft, that's dead. And yeah, they all need to be ripped out, and all these green sort of like things on the outside of the house, they all need to come down. There's a hole in the outside the house which used to be for a chimney, that's dead and needs plugging up. There's a vent into the attic there, which is water just pours in. There's a huge crack that runs down the outside the house, with holes that go into the bedroom for some reason. We've no idea why. Yeah, it all needs plugging up. Yeah, because basically this drain pipe is just, well, it's not attached to the outside of the house for any reason. And bees and lizards just seem to walk in at their own free will. So yeah, all needs sorting out at some point. Those wires from outside come through a rather rusty conduit, and obviously those wires have now corroded, and the insulation on them has also deteriorated and has shorted against the metal pipe, as you'd expect. So what I've got to do is check that none of it is live, because obviously that's going to be really, really bad. So I've got my trusty voltage detector. Now I know this wire is live because I put it in, and yeah, I'll just set this up, and yep, that's live. So what I can't really hope is this one isn't live, because it's probably 3-phase and I can't turn it off. So here goes. Phew, that's a piece of luck. So what I've got to do is cut it off about here, pack that. Oh, it's quite a draft actually, and it's a still day. There's absolutely no wind outside, so yeah. Yeah, cut that off about there, pack that full of stones, and hopefully all will be well. Just double check that, because I really don't want to go up and smoke. Yeah, that is definitely dead. Check all of those individually. Yeah, we're definitely not live. Just check that's working. Yeah, that's not live. Phew. Now this particular wall will be on display, and we're using a slightly different line. It's going to be the same ratio, 3:1, 3 sands, 1 lime, but the lime we're using is NHL 2.5 and not NHL 5, and the difference is, for us, is the colour. We're not worried about which one's harder, which one's softer, or anything like that. I think NHL 5 is the hardest, and 2.5 is obviously softer. But the colour, the 2.5 is very white, and the 5 is quite grey, really, isn't it? It's drab, and especially when it dries, it's far too drab looking.
Yeah, it looks like cement even, can't it?
Yeah. So the sand we're using is very orange, but none of the orange of the sand shows through. And also these stones, if you have a look at this stone here, this is about the only stone on the whole wall which has got a flat face. If you have a look at, say, this stone here, it's, yeah, that one's rough. All the stones over there, they're very rough. It's like they've gone out on the field and picked the roughest stones that they could find and just threw them in a heap. They've not put them in any particular line, any particular order. I mean, if you took a spirit level to this wall, it would just laugh at you, really, wouldn't it? The bubble would just be all over the show, really. So yeah, any plumb lines or anything like that, yeah, they're completely useless in this house. But what you do when you're finished is you use a stiff brush, a bit like this, and you tap it down really, really hard, and that'll leave even more of the stone face showing, and it'll push all of this lime mortar into the joints a little bit more. And then once it's all dried, or close to properly dry, you work from the centre of the stone outwards, and you brush a little bit of the lime mortar back again, and that will reveal more of the stone face, and it will also bling up the stone a bit as well. For 1 month of the year, this window just hums with cluster flies, and we're finally sealing up all the cracks around the edges. We've blocked up the fireplace, which is one particular source where they could be getting in. There was a hole in the corner there where they could have got in. There was another hole up the top there where they could have got in, and there were 2 holes in the wall there where someone had done a whole mess of chimney hole there, which you just can't describe in words what they've done there. But this round the window is the prime culprit of where they could have got in, and it is getting sealed. Yay! Now the walls are line rendered, the next job is to rip up the floorboards before they literally collapse under our feet, because they're doing a really good job of rotting away beneath our feet, and as Mandy's demonstrating, they are collapsing as we go. So yeah, it's surprising they've lasted this long. So yeah, they are in absolute dire condition. We're taking up these floorboards, and they're made of pitch pine, and you can see they're third of the weight they should be. They're almost like balsa wood or something like that. But the beams themselves are covered in sawdust, but if you brush it, there's absolutely no sign of woodworm damage, which is brilliant. So that is absolutely fantastic news for us. So we're on a bit of a voyage of discovery here. We get into the tiles around the hearth of the fireplace, and we're just seeing what basically holds them in. And yeah, we're not sure. Up they come. Bricks.
Bricks on plaster.
Yeah.
And wood.
Yeah. So yeah, keep on going. As you can see, the ones in the centre are really worn, and that's why we're basically taking them up, because they're a huge trip hazard.
Yeah.
Now is the moment I get to see why somebody in the past has put down all these tin plates. Was it to cover up an ocean of woodworm, or was it to get access to downstairs lighting cables or something ridiculous like that? So yeah, I'm about to get my old faithful crowbar, and well, if necessary, they're coming up pretty easy. Well, that's answered the question really, isn't it? It's an ocean of woodworm, and yeah, should have worn a mask really, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's breaking up in my hands, isn't it? So yeah, it was to cover up woodworm. So yeah, that's why every time we trod on it, it was bouncing. So yeah, so I can carry on ripping up the floor. Yeah, it's everywhere. So that's one question answered, isn't it? That's all the floor up, but before we put any of the insulation and floor down, we got to have a pretty good sweep up, because there's walnuts, there's acorns and basically down that side was a big old rodent run, and in the corner there we got a mortar up a hole because I think some rodents were getting in over there, and they were having a bit of a sort of like a rat run down that side there. So yeah, it's a little bit musty in here at the moment, so yeah, we've got to have a bit of a tidy up first. All the insulation's now in the floor. I made quite a bit of dust putting some of the first fix electrics in. That didn't go down too well, but the problem we've now got is basically none of the floor joists are straight. They're not parallel, they're not evenly spaced, they're not even square to the walls, and the walls aren't flat, they're not parallel to each other. Yeah, they're not square in the corners. This wall over here is quite pot-bellied. Yeah, it's, well, yeah. So if we use the bottom of the wall as a reference, it's different to the top of the wall. So yeah, we've got literally nothing in this room we can use as a reference for putting in the floorboards. So yes, what we actually did when we took the old floorboards out, it's a bit hard to see, we marked each floorboard on the beam with a line. So what we don't want to end up with is a triangular board when we finish the room. And yeah, because basically the room is 7 centimeters wider at one end than the other, and that would look quite weird on a floorboard. So yeah, don't quite know what to do. So we're gonna have to lose that somewhere. I think this is our 18th board that we put down, and I'm gonna see how well I've kept to my lines. I have used the laser to keep sort of like try to keep to the guideline, so I'm gonna test. There's one line, so I'm gonna see how far that is. What's that? Let's line it up. Oh, take my glasses off because I'm an old man now. Well, that's cool, that actually exactly 90. So let's measure the one next door. Oh, exactly 90. So let's go down the other end of the room. Now this is the telling sign about how close I've got. So, guideline. Oh, it's not 90.
But that line's not straight anyway.
That line's not straight.
So come right to the edge on the left, that's it.
Line to there. Well, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
89?
I think we can live with a millimetre, love.
I'll take that as a win.
Yeah, the line's wonky.
The line's wonky. 88 on the other side. I'm going to take that as a win. What's this one here? Oh, that one's not so good.
That one's way out.
That one's way out.
But if one's out and the other three
88.
I think 2 millimetre we can live with anyway.
I'll take that as a win. Hey, you didn't do too bad, did I?
You did alright then.
The 18th board and 2 millimetres. I did pretty good. That is the floor all completed, and it's looking rather good. It took a lot longer than expected. We were hoping to get it finished in an afternoon, and it took about 50 hours. And what Mandy's doing now, she's going around with a pin punch, which looks a bit smaller than one of these, and we're knocking all the nails below the surface. So if anyone does decide to go around in their bare feet, they're not going to get ripped to shreds. But what we've now got to do is we're going to batten the wall, and we're going to start putting up the insulation on the this wall here, because yeah, it's just exposed stone and it's not looking pretty or anything like that. So yeah, it's going to be quite time consuming to knock all these nails down, because there's actually half a kilo of nails in the floor of this room, so it's going to be quite time consuming. First bit of battening is going up. We're leaving a little bit of an air gap behind. Hopefully that's the way to do it. We're not sure about this stuff, we're not professionals, but we think that's the way to do it. That's the beginnings of the stub wall done, and we are tired. It is hot.
It is a hot day.
Yeah.
How do people do this on their own?
I don't know. I found something rather nasty while trying to wire this socket. I'll see if I can explain a little bit better for you. These two electrical sockets were bought from the same shop on the same day, and they were bought from the same shelf, from the same slot, and as you can see there's the label. And if I turn them over, you should be able to see they have, maybe you'll be able to focus, the same part numbers, everything's identical, they're made in the same country. So yeah, everything looking identical, apart from those people might have already noticed that red dot is on the left and we have a blue dot on the left. So those electrically minded people will know that means that socket there will be 50 Hertz away from that socket on the right. So any electrical appliance with a fault plugged into this socket here will give you a nasty shock to anything plugged into this socket on the right, particularly if this one on the right has got a metal bodied appliance plugged into it. So yeah, what I recommend is basically to get a qualified electrician to do your electrical work if you've bought a Legrand socket recently. You could also get one of these handy testers. They're very cheap online, and plug it in and test your sockets. So yeah, that's what I found. As we decorate the house, we keep finding various coins all around, underneath skirting boards, behind doors, in old cupboards and stuff like that, of previous residents and stuff like that. So what we did, we found a little box in a pecan. It's got the name of a little village not too far from here, and inside we're going to put maybe some old coins or little trinket in there, and we're going to hide it in the floor or in a wall as we decorate the room. Previously, the only things that could get in this room were
The wildlife.
the wildlife, flies, wasps, lizards,
Mice.
yeah, mice,
Bees.
yeah. If you tried to get in this room before, you were basically going to crash through the floorboards and end up downstairs,
Yeah.
which wasn't good. But now it's a blank canvas.
It's a safe, solid room
Yeah,
with
so
floors, ceilings and walls.
they're all insulated. Everything's good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically,
Quick wipe down and then we can decorate.
Because it's just a blank canvas now. It's safe, it's solid, it's secure. Yeah, so we're good to go.
Happy days.
Happy days. So it's all done. Well, it's not done, but yeah, it's good to start decorating. So, as usual, folks, give us a bit of the old like and subscribe.
He does like that.
We do like a bit of that, and leave a comment or two because she loves reading those.
Certainly do.
And
We'll see you next time.
see you next time.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.